Hi everyone, I'm Sam Wilson Jr., and this is the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast, the music podcast on where I interview singers and musicians from genres of black music, gospel, jazz, blues, old school classic soul, old school hip hop, today's hip hop and R&B, Caribbean, Latin, Afrobeat, Afro-Latina, blue-eyed soul, disco, go-go, line dances, and the Lost 45s. So come with me as I take you on to a trip to the destination genre of black music right now on the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Legal Shield is a proud sponsor of the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Have you been involved in any types of accidents? Have you been a victim of identity theft? Have you been a victim of a computer fraud scam? Have you been in disputes with your tenants or landlords? If your loved one dies and they didn't write up a will for you or for your family, or you and your spouse are filing for divorce, or if you need help by opening up your small business, give Legal Shield a try. Visit their website at LegalShield.com and tell them you heard it here on the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Do it today. You'll be glad you did. Welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience. I'm Sam Wilson Jr., and I have a special guest on my show. And this gentleman that I'm about to introduce is a singer, songwriter, and producer at Soul Media Publishing Group. His single, 38 Special, and Your Name is now available on Spotify. Please help me welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmie Got Soul.
Thank you.
Jimmy.
Thank you.
How you doing, Jimmy?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, and you? Welcome to my podcast. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we're going to know more about you, and we're going to talk about everything that you're doing and all the other stuff a little bit later on in the show. But as always, America doesn't know who you are. The world doesn't know who you are. So I'm very delighted to have you here on my show.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so let us begin, shall we? Now, where were you born?
Was born here in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, actually.
Oh, okay, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I'm no stranger to that area, but I have not been to Milwaukee, but I've heard about Milwaukee, Wisconsin, home of Miller Beer, and yes, the Milwaukee Brewers. But before the Milwaukee Brewers, we had another team called the Milwaukee Braves, which I didn't know. So the Milwaukee Braves had moved to Atlanta to become the Atlanta Braves, and that was Hank Aaron, who was the player for that team when it was in Milwaukee. Then it moved to the ATL. Yes. Now, were your parents or any of your family relatives in the music industry, or did they had 9-to-5 day jobs?
My parents both work regular 9 to 5s, but just music's been around the family all the time. So
Okay. And which high school did you go to?
I attended a trade school, high school. So the school's called Bradley Tech.
Okay. And which college did you go to?
Again, transferring from trade high school to a trade college. So it's considered a technical college. So MATC is the name of the college.
Oh, okay. And what was your major?
Two majors. Had one was heat and venting, so HVAC, and then the other one's appliance repair, appliance servicing. So those are my two majors.
Okay. Now, who did you want to be when you grow up?
Be when I grow up, my dad. He was hardworking, never complained, reliable, never missed a day of work. So if it was anybody, I wanted to be just like my dad.
And how old were you when you started singing and producing and writing songs?
I'd probably say maybe about 7, 8 years old. I would just write little small poems in school, and Would go back and listen to songs and write the lyrics down. So just doing that kind of stuff. So I would probably say maybe 7, 8 years old.
Was being a singer and songwriter your calling?
I feel as though, yeah, because it just there's just a attraction to how music's made, how it's being developed, how it comes out, how the song and everything's structured. So I would say so, yeah.
Now, growing up, who were some of your favorite artists?
Growing up, favorite artists. Well, my mom played Luther Vandross all the time, so you grow to love Luther, Michael Jackson, obviously. As a kid, wanted to be like Chris Cross. So being a youngster, wearing your clothes backwards. So anything to be like those guys that are on TV.
Hmm. And who were your musical influences that had inspired you to sing and write?
Again, Michael Jackson. I'm pretty sure that's everybody's favorite, influenced everybody. Um, Groups like Cameo, the SOS Band, Prince, and then when we get to like the hip hop side, I would probably say people like Jay Z, Biggie Smalls, Tribe Called Quest, um, Rakim, just all those guys. Yeah.
Now, I was looking at your bio and it says you were influenced by watching or playing PlayStation and video games. How does that influence you by getting into singing?
Well, me and my friend, we purchased this game. It was called Music Generator. So back then, there wasn't really many programs like it is now available to make music or record music or anything like that. So that was the only thing that we had was a video game to make music on. So we got our money together, purchased it. It's probably maybe when I was maybe like we were like 14, 15. Uh, got the game, sat down, didn't have any instruction manuals or anything like that. Figured it out, and that was our only way we can make music at the time.
Wow, I've never heard of that before. Cause me, when I was around in the '80s, we just had those video games. You had Atari and ColecoVision, and you had those other play games from back in the day. All you had to do is just hook it up to your TV and
Yep.
use that little joystick and start playing. I'll be at my friend's house. We'll be doing all that Atari Vision and ColecoVision and things like that. So that was way before we had PlayStation and Sega and all those other things. So that was
Yeah.
my first time hearing that. Now, did you get any replies or anything like feedback from people about your influence into video games?
Yeah, sometimes you would play things for your friends, and I wouldn't say it was necessarily me. I would just play it, and they'll be saying, "Who was that? That sounds good. That sounds dope." And I'd be like, "Yeah, that's me." Or if it's my friends, his music, we just play it for anybody. When we were making the music in my bedroom, there was no speakers or anything. It was just through the TV. And if my parents walked past and say, "Who did you make that?" That just kind of gave me the hunger to keep going and to keep trying to strive forward. So yeah, friends, family, if they even gave me an inch of confidence, I took it.
Mm, okay. Now, before you got into the music business, did you had any work jobs? And if so, what was your first day job?
First job when I became an adult is what I went to school for. So it was repairing appliances. I've been doing that since 2007. So that's pretty much up until this point here. That's what I've been doing.
Mm, okay, so that's like appliances and fixing refrigerators and things like that.
Yep, any household appliance, I can get my hands on it and fix it for you.
Mm, wow. Now, I got a chance to check out your album on Spotify, and it's called Anti-Social. How did you come up with the name of the album?
I'm a pretty shy guy. I'm very shy. If I'm in a room, you probably won't even know I'm there. So When I do music, I'm able to express myself. I have a hard time of verbally expressing it to people, but I can put it in the music and express myself that way. So antisocial was just kind of being afraid to express yourself, but if you have an outlet and you're able to express yourself in that form of music, then you can do so. So that's where I came up with the name antisocial.
And how many tracks that you written and produced and sung on that album?
I produced every single song. I think there's 18 songs on the album. I produced every one. I wrote all my verses for them. The singing parts I wrote, and I had some of my friends help me out with them recording their verses. They recorded all their verses, but yeah, I wrote and recorded and produced the whole album.
Did you had any guests on your album?
Yeah, I had my friend that I told you about that we were doing the video game with the music. His name is Cool Tracks. He produced a song on there. I had my friend, that longtime collaborator, Fine Wine Fletch. He's on the album. I have another dope artist named J Hart. He's on the album. I've had another guy. He's from Nigeria. He's an R&B singer. His name's Vic. He's all over the album. I also had another friend. His name is TRF Brando. He's from Chicago. He's been on the album. So yeah, all my friends came out and helped me out for this one.
Mm, wow. Now, I got a chance to check out your song 38 Special. I think it was on Spotify or some of the other platforms like Reverb Nation or something like that. And also Your Name, which was also on that track as well. Now, tell me what those two songs are all about.
Well, 38 Special was a song that I produced. It's featuring J Hart on that one. It's more of a redemption song. It's about believing yourself, having the confidence to speak your voice, your truth, being the MVP in your mindset. So yeah, that's just me and him just kind of writing and getting those thoughts out. It started from a conversation that we had that we wanted to make music and release it. We have a ton of music that we just kind of keep on our hard drives, kind of go back and forth, but it never gets released. And it started with a conversation and it just went from there. Then the Your Name song is another song that's featuring the other guy, Vic, I was telling you about, and Fine Wine Fletch. It's just about spoiling your lady, taking her out on a date, spoiling her, treating her right, and that's it.
Hmm. Now, here's another question that I didn't put on there. Since we're talking about these songs that you did, have you done any unreleased stuff that is still in the works? Because every time when I hear like Tupac and Biggie has some of those unreleased stuff after their death, and they just released it, some unreleased stuff. So, have you had any other songs that you're working on, or like when your album is released and you start, let's work on another one, let's do as much as we can?
Yeah, I'm actually in the process of recording another album. Me and Fine Wine Fletch, he's an artist from Philly. He's been on every single project that I ever did. Yeah, we're working on another album called Prequel. We've been just kind of getting ideas together, recording maybe about 5, 6 songs so far. So we'll see to that where that goes. Hopefully, we can get this out in the next month or two and see what happens.
Okay. Now, how would you describe your sound? Is this kind of like hip hop, like whether it's having fun or hip hop, positive style, or is it like hip hop with a social message?
I would say a little of everything. It has to be soulful for one. It has to be melodic. It has to have some kind of groove. I feel the groove is the heartbeat of the song, and it has to have some type of hip hop element to it, an R&B element to it. But it has to be groovy. It has to have a melody that just kind of catches you, and then you let your voice be the instrument as well too. So I would say it's a bit of hip hop and R&B mixed together.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to those albums, including those tracks that you're going to be doing real soon. Now, here's a question that I always ask my guests: living or dead, which artist that you wish you wanted to meet or to perform with?
Ooh, living or dead. What comes to mind, probably Donny Hathaway. That his voice is it just man, it's just so soulful. If I can be able to meet him or be able to pick his brain, and yeah, it would probably be Donny Hathaway.
Okay. Now, here on the Black Soul Music Experience, I always ask my guests who are the best top 10 R&B black artists of all time. Now, since I have you, Jimmy, then we're going to do the top 10 hip hop artists of all time. Now, here's how it works. We do it like a top 10 countdown, like the show America's Top 10, hosted by the late Casey Kasem. We get to the bottom five and we find out who was the best artist but didn't get any recognition. And then we get to the top five, we will find out who was the best artist of all time of that top five, like the movie Top Five, starring Chris Rock and an all star cast. Now, we're going to find out who was the best artist that had all the million selling albums. Did that artist have all those top 10 number one hits? Did that artist receive a gold or a platinum or a double platinum or triple platinum or today's diamond platinum? Did that artist perform that song on Soul Train or American Bandstand or The Midnight Special or NBC Saturday Night Live or Solid Gold or any of those local shows across the states? Or did they had their music video aired on BET or MTV or VH1 or some of those other local channels? Or did that artist had their own prime time special, whether it's on CBS or NBC or ABC? Or did that artist performed on PBS, whether it's great performances or they had that special during Pledge Month? Or did they had their own concert special aired live on HBO or Showtime? So, Jimmy, are you ready to take this challenge?
I'm ready.
Okay. Now, who should be at number 10?
Can I do hip hop and R&B or just
Yes,
hip
you
hop?
can.
All
Yes, you
right.
can.
Number 10, I'm going to go with the SOS band. I'll put
Ah,
them at number 10.
all right. The SOS band came on the scene back in the summer of 1980 with their debut hit, Take Your Time, Do It Right. When I first heard that song on the radio, I was just doing my dance and everything. And it was a top 10 hit on Billboard Soul Singles Charts. They performed that song on Soul Train, and some other hits have followed in the 80s, and that includes Just the Way You Like It and that top 10 ballad hit, Tell Me If You Still Care.
Yep.
I was in Truman High School. All the classmates be playing that song. I was like, oh, that? And I didn't know that that song was produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. So they had some other hits during the 80s, including Weekend Love and just to name a few. So we'll put the SOS band at number 10. All right, who should be at number 9?
Number 9, we're going to put Tribe Called Quest.
Ah, A Tribe Called Quest came on the scene back at the end of 1989 into 1990. I remember those guys, Q-Tip, Ali, Shaheed Muhammad, and the late Fife. So they were on the scene back in 1990 with their debut, Bonita Applebum, and the other one, Can I Kick It? Yes, you can. Can I Kick It? And the other one from 1991 with their LP, The Low End Theory, with their song called Check the Rhyme, y'all. And that other one with the collaborated with leaders of the new school that had Busta Rhymes. And at the scenario, I saw that music video on MTV. And when you had that video screen where you had the LP, and then you had the other thing, and then you had some of the drums. And here we go, yo, here we go, yo. So what's now? Here's the scenario, and
Yep.
then you had all the cameo appearances were on that music video. Everyone from Spike Lee to Fab Five Freddy and Todd One, just to name a few. I was like loving that video so much. So whoop. And also they had some other songs in the later 90s, and just to name a few. So we'll put A Tribe Called Quest at number 9. Rest in peace to Fife Dog. And yes, they also performed on Saturday Night Live back in November 2016.
Wow.
Yes. All right, who should be at number 8?
Number eight, I'm gonna go R&B again. Let's go with my mom's gonna love this one, Freddie Jackson.
Representing the village of Harlem in New York City, Mr. Freddie Jackson. When I first came on the scene back in 1985, at first he almost sounded like Luther Vandross. But when I heard his debut single Rock Me Tonight for Old Time's Sake from his debut LP Rock Me Tonight, I was like, oh, okay, that's Freddie Jackson. And when I heard the song on the radio, I said, oh, he almost sounded like Luther Vandross. But when he had all those tunes, including You Are My Lady and his second LP, Have You Ever Loved Somebody, and Tasty Love, just to name a few, and also did a duet with Melba Moore and some other albums, including Nice and Slow, just to name a few. He won the American Music Award back in 1989 at the 1989 American Music Awards. And yes, he's still performing today. I got a chance to see an episode of Unsung where we all got his music and singing from. He all started in the church at the White Rock Baptist Church in the village of Harlem. He never stopped. He kept on singing and performing and everything. So we'll put one and only Freddie Jackson at number 8. All right, who should be at number 7?
Number seven, we're gonna go hip hop. I'll go with DMX.
DMX, representing Yonkers, New York, came on the scene at the end of the 90s. He's best known for his roughness and everything. One of the songs he'll be playing at the club so much. He'll be going, y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. And his other songs called Stop, Shop, Shuttle Down, Open Up Shop, oh, oh, get it out, open up shop. I was like, oh my goodness, DMX will just keep rhyming and everything. So he had some hits and everything. While at the same time, he had to battle his demons and everything. So I know he had a hard life here and there. So rest in peace to DMX, and we'll put DMX at number 7. Who should be at number 6?
Number six, I'm gonna go R&B. Let's go with New Edition.
Yes, New Edition came on the scene back in the fall of 1982. They debuted LP Candy Girl, produced by Maurice Starr. Not only Maurice Starr was a producer, but he was the manager for that group. So, New Edition came on the scene. I can name all of those guys: Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, and Ralph.
Yep.
So it had that LP Candy Girl. They had songs including Candy Girl, Popcorn Love, Is This the End? Just to name a few. I saw a couple of their music videos when NBC had Friday night videos and some other shows across the country. And here in the NYC, ABC7 had New York Hot Tracks. They came on Friday night at 12:30. I've seen all of those music videos. And when he got to their second LP, self titled LP New Edition, they had Cool It Now And they also had Mr. Telephone Man, written by Ray Parker Jr., and
Yep.
everything. And then they got to their third LP. They had a song called "You'll Have to Count Me Out." And then while I was watching Solid Gold back in the fall of 1985, I was like, "Yo, what happened to Bobby Brown? There was used to be five, now they're down to four." So that's when we found out later that Bobby Brown went solo. I was like, oh. So then they were down to four, and then by 1988 they had their next LP, N.E. Heartbreak. Johnny Gill joined the cast, and they had other hits including "If It Isn't Love." And when I saw that music video, it was like boom, 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 dancing and everything.
Yep.
So they have done everything, even though they had their own separate projects. Ralph Tresvant had his own solo LPs, and Belle Biv DeVoe had their own solo LPs. And yes, Bobby Brown had some more solo LPs. His second LP, King of Stage, and his second one, My Prerogative, Don't Be Cruel, million seller
Millions.
LP,
Yeah.
1988. He had a string of number one hits. Don't Be Cruel, My Prerogative, Rock With You, just to name a few. And then his other album entitled Bobby with his hit, including Gotta Get Away, If It Ain't Good Enough, and did a duet with Future,
Whitney.
Whitney
Yep.
Houston. Yep. So yeah, and even though they're back together and still performing, so we'll put New Edition at number six. All right, who should be at number five?
Number five, I'm probably going to go with the greatest voice of all time, Whitney Houston.
Ah, the Princess of Pop, Whitney Houston, came on the scene in 1985 with her debut single, along with the late Teddy Pendergrass, Hold Me in Your Arms Tonight. And then by the spring of 1985, her self titled debut LP, Whitney Houston, came on the scene with her first song, You Give Good Love. I saw the music video on New York Hot Tracks. Song was written and produced by Kashif, and the hits kept on coming. We had some other follow hits, including Saving All My Love for You, How Will I Know, and the remake of George Benson's The Greatest Love of All. Her debut LP have sold over 1 million copies in print. She won an American Music Award and a Grammy Award for Best New Artist. And then her second album, Whitney, released in 1987, had a song called "Oh, I Wanna Dance with Somebody." And her follow ups, "Where Do Broken Hearts Go?" "Didn't We Almost Had It All?" "So Emotional," and a remake of the Isley Brothers' "For the Love of You." And then her third LP, "I'm Your Baby Tonight" album, was produced by LA and Babyface, had "I'm Your Baby Tonight," "Miracle," and "All the Man That I Need." And then by 1991, she performed at Super Bowl 25, 1991, her rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. And we were going through a time when all of our U.S. troops were in Iran, Operation Desert Storm. And let me tell you, her version of the Star Spangled Banner was on wax the next day. All the black radio stations were playing her version of the national anthem. And in case you may not know, that song was at number 61 or number 59. Number 59 was on the VH1's 100 Greatest Rock and Roll Artists that appeared on television. So it was on that list at number 60. And let me tell you, I mean, her version of the Star Spangled Banner, it sold like hotcakes compared to some other different versions, but nothing couldn't compare to her version. It was powerful, uplifting voice. And
Absolutely.
also, also she was acting as well. She made her acting debut in the movie The Bodyguard in 1992, also Waiting to Exhale in 1995, and The Preacher's Wife, which was the remake of the original The Bishop's Wife, 1996, that starred Denzel Washington and an all star cast that features Lionel Richie, Gregory Hines, Courtney B. Vance, and just to name a few. And it was directed by the late Penny Marshall. And yes, Whitney and Penny were cameo appearances on NBC Saturday Night Live back in December of 1996. The guest host was Rosie O'Donnell. She was in that Christmas skit that when Molly Shannon's character, Mary Catherine Gallagher, was known for breaking those chairs and stomping all over them. So that was the skit that I love from that. So rest in peace to Miss Whitney Houston, the Princess of Pop, been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the class of 2020. So that's Whitney Houston at number 5.
Yes.
Who should be at number 4?
Number four, my next four picks are going to be strictly hip hop. So number four, we're going to go with Nas.
Ah, yes, Nas came on the scene back in the mid 90s, representing the Queensbridge section of Queens, New York. When I first heard this guy, he was just rapping and had a song called The World Is This, and then some other ones that saying that I rule the world,
Yep.
and then another one called Do You Hate Me Now? I was like, wow, non-stop. Who could never knew that Nas would just flow like that. So we're gonna put Nas at number 4. All right, who should be at number 3?
Number three, we're going to go with Tupac Shakur.
Ah, yes, the one and only Tupac Shakur representing the West Coast. He was early part of New Edition. Excuse me, not New Edition. Digital
Digital
Underground.
Underground. There you go.
Yes, he was a member of Digital Underground representing the West Coast. And then he went on his own. He brought in his own hip hop flavor. He had a song called Brenda's Got a Baby, followed by If My Homie Calls, and then the unthinkable. We had this hits called I Get Around, and all everything. He was acting too in between. He made his debut in the movie Juice that starred
Yep.
Omar Epps and Jermaine Hopkins. And also, he was in another movie called Poetic Justice that had Janet Jackson. And also another movie called Above the Rim with Dwayne Martin and the late Bernie Mac. So he was doing some hits and movies in between, and then he got in trouble with the law and everything. So by the time he was in prison, he wrote the song called Dear Mama. And this was a Mother's Day song. Not only they played on Mother's Day, but also every day. So her mother, who was part of the Black Panthers, he was writing this song, you know, for some experiences and forgiveness. So when you hear about that song, when Afeni Shakur was in prison, gave birth to Tupac, and wrote the song about everything, about relationship with the mom, and yes, no dad in the picture.
Yep.
So he turned his life around and everything. So Dear Mama was part of his LP called Meet Against the World, and that song and LP was approved by the National Recording Registry at the Library of Congress in Washington D.C. for its creativity. And his final movie was called Gang Related, starring Jim Belushi. So when he was out in Las Vegas, everything, he was shot and then died 2 or 4 days later. So by in the late 2000s, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So rest in peace to rapper, actor, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Tupac Shakur.
Absolutely.
All right, we're up to number two.
Two spots. For number two, I'm going to go with Jay Z.
Ah, yes, Jay Z representing Brooklyn, New York, the Marcy Projects. Jay Z, yep, came on the scene with that song called Ain't No like the one I've got with special guest Foxy Brown. And that was from the movie The Nutty Professor. And when
Yep.
I heard that song, I was like, oh, they're sampling from the Four Tops. Ain't no woman like the one I got. So he had some other hits during the mid 90s. And then by 2007 or 2008, he did the song called Empire State of Mind with special guest Alicia Keys. When I'd be hearing that song on Friday nights at that afterward party, they would say, oh, where the New York Yankees are at. And they would be playing that song, everything. So Jay-Z have done everything. Not only he raps, but he also produced, co-founder of Rockefeller Records. And yes, he's married to Beyonce. And yes, he's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So he's still continuing his raps and entrepreneurs and everything. So we're going to put Brooklyn's own Jay Z at number two. All right. Who's number one?
Number one has to be Notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls.
All right. The notorious B.I.G., a.k.a. Biggie Smalls, a.k.a. Big Papa, came on the scene in 1994 on Diddy's or Puff Daddy's Bad Boy Entertainment label. He was on there in 1994 with his debut single called Juicy, sample from M. Tume's Juicy.
Yep.
And I saw the music video and like he was rapping, he was flowing and everything. So other hits came on his debut LP called Ready to Die. He had other ones that includes Unbelievable, and his other one was, oh man, that song was like, man, why do you want to stick before my papers?
Yep.
And it flowing. He was nonstop. And at the same time, he helped out Junior Mafia to get their foot on the ground, which includes Little Kim. So he was in the music video with them as well. So his second album, Life After Death, which includes Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your love just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. Your body dipped, you're okay. I was like, man, he was flowing. Let me tell you, he was flowing. And we would have never knew that that would have been his second and last album before he was shot and killed out in Los Angeles. So this was during the event of East Coast versus the West Coast. It's like saying you got who's who's the best rapper, Tupac or Biggie. It was
Yep.
like everything. So then all some of his unreleased tracks came out after his death. Same thing with Tupac. So we put Biggie up in there at number one, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the class of 2020. So rest in peace to the one and only Brooklyn's own, the notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls, Big Papa at number one. Well, Jimmy, it's been a pleasure having you here on the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be with me. And good luck to you. And you're welcome to come on back. And if any projects comes up, you're welcome to come on back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Hope we can do this again soon.
Okay. Now, before we go, where can we follow you for any upcoming events and where can we follow you on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram. It's Jimmie Got Soul, Jimmy Got Soul 13 on Instagram.
Okay. Download all of the artists that we have talked about on this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Visit iTunes.com, Spotify.com, or purchase a CD at Amazon.com. Make sure you follow Jimmie Got Soul. Look for him on Instagram /Jimmie Got Soul 13. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out this episode, please subscribe by going to the link. The link is riverside.fm/studio/Samuel-Wilson Jr.'s. Don't forget to add the S at the end, -studio. And yes, I will be posting this episode on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And if you have a hard time getting onto riverside.fm, then please become a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. All you need to do is go to the log on to Patreon and just make sure you put in your email and password and get to the Patreon homepage where you see all of the shows by different creators. And make sure you type in the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Check out all of my audio podcast episodes and video podcast clips that you may have missed. And if you have a hard time getting on to Patreon, then we will be posting this episode on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, go to the YouTube homepage, and type in the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. If you like this episode, if you love my podcast, please subscribe, please support, please give me a thumbs up, please leave a comment, and please pass it on. Thank you for joining me as I close out this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience. Well, that's about it for this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. I'm Sam Wilson Jr. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week for an all-new episode. The Black Soul Music Experience podcast is sponsored by the support of listeners and viewers like you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe by going to riverside.fm/studio/Samuel-Wilson Jr.'s -studio. And don't forget to check out my audio and video podcast episodes by becoming a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. And also check out my video podcast episodes by subscribing to youtube.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. And please leave your comments, feedbacks, and replies by going to my Facebook homepage. Visit facebook.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. You can also tweet me on X, aka Twitter, at Sam Wilson Jr. 66. As always, partying, remember this. Reach for the top and your dreams will come true, and it can happen to you. From all of us, take care. God bless. Thanks for listening. Have a good week, and please be safe.